Alright, well, it's Thomas and Nick here, back for another Archmage Rises update. Woohoo!
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw! We're actually doing them every week, just like we said. So, I'm ready to work, Nick. I'm ready to go, because I got the Pathfinder social cards ready to... Okay, we're not going to do that this week. So this week we want to talk about our 2017 plan, what we're going to do, and the release date of the game. So I thought it would be good for us to just be real transparent with the fans out there about how do we come up with a release date that is slightly better than completely wrong. So we're gonna show you how we came up with the date, and then we'll give you the date, and then we'll take it from there. So hopefully nobody kills us. Okay, so the first thing that we did was we went back to the original feature list, kind of the original feature plan that I've been putting like on the website and talking about the game and stuff, right? And none of those things have changed. People have said on the forums and such, are like, hey, where's this? Where's that? And the answer is we haven't got to it yet. That's a really short version. And I'll also say that it's been very hard to renovate a home while you're living in it. I just gone through a basement renovation and a master bathroom renovation, and I did both those things before we moved into the house. And that's because then you could be as messy and dirty as you want and crap flying everywhere, and people can work as they please, right? They can come in at 6 in the morning, or they can work until 2 in the morning or something like that. It doesn't matter because there's nobody there, right? And so once we start living here, then it becomes really difficult. So same thing's true with the game. When you're pushing out releases, stuff starts to become really hard. And unfortunately, we've been building new features. At the same time, we're trying to push out a hotfix, and so the hotfix contains a bunch of new features like the loading screen and some map enhancements and a bunch of other things. So we will be...
There's tons of stuff in there.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that we've just been working on while we've been trying to get the hotfix. And so the reason the hotfix has taken so long is because I broke a lot of things when I did my rewrite, and we're still discovering those things and fixing them. But the good news is that we have test cases now that we can go through and actually reveal that these things are broken. And so that's really good. So before I get into the schedule thing, I want to tell you a quick story from my software company days. So I own a software company, and I answered the phone one day, and the guy on the other end says, hey, we got the source code to like a mobile project. Would you be able to come and fix it for us? And we do enterprise mobile software, and I was like, I don't know, like it's going to be like kind of hard and whatever. So I went down and talked with them. And so to make the early part short, they were working with a software company that was building this enterprise delivery mobile thing that, and they're a food company. And if I gave their name, then everybody would know who they are, because their food is available throughout North America and even in some of the Caribbean. And so they said, yeah, so we bought this system from this company, and they were, they did it for these guys and these guys, and it sounded really good and everything. And so we paid them $2 million in order to build this system, and it doesn't work. Like it doesn't work like at all. And it got to the point where they had to sue them, and in order to get the source code, in order to fix the bugs themselves, because the company was just taking way too long in order to do that. And so they had the source code, and they were wondering if we could take that source code and then fix it for them, because they honestly didn't really know what to do with the source code. So we looked at it, and I said to them, yeah, we could probably build you a new one like faster than it would take to go through someone else's code and like fix all these bugs and stuff. And there was like a lot of problems, like the invoices weren't invoicing correctly, and the numbers weren't adding up between the payments and the invoices, and it's just all these nightmares and stuff. And so they finally agreed, okay, let's do it. We'll start a new project. We'll do it with these guys. And I told them I can build you a better system than that $2 million thing for $450,000. And they were like, really? Like, okay, but okay, fine, we'll believe you and stuff. And the second thing I told them is once we start this thing, we write the spec, then we'll know exactly when it's going to be done. Now, they had just gone through the process with this other company where like went on and on and on for like years, right? Like it went years before they finally sued them to get the source code. And so when we started the project, we told them it'll take us 9 months, and we will be done on this Tuesday in September at 10 a.m., right? And they're looking at us like, you're nuts. Like, there's no way you could ever predict that you could be done, right? And my answer to them was, this is what we do. We know how to do this. We've been doing it for many years. And sure enough, that day in September came and we were done. And the client wasn't ready because the client never believed that we could be done. And so the reason that I bring all that up is scheduling big projects, lots of people, is something that I've done before. So I'm pulling all that experience from my software development career and trying to apply it to games. Now, games are different from software, and that was one of the harsh realities that I had to learn. That it's not just about getting the features done, it's also about making sure that it's fun and compelling and all those other things and stuff. So what I'm about to show you is kind of how I used the process from big software project management and how we applied it to this game in order to come up with a release date. So you ready? You ready, Nick?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Hit me.
Yep. So the first thing that we did was going through, and I'm going to show in Visio here. We went and identified all the features at a kind of a macro scale, right? So we grouped them into these big kind of buckets, okay? And then we went through each one of these and we tried to identify, oh, this has a dependency on that, and you know, these things have some dependencies and stuff. And so we went and we came up with all these things. Then we went through and we started estimating them in terms of person days. And so the first number is how long in terms of design, the first number is implementation, second number is in terms of design. And so we came up with those numbers. Okay, so that's great. So we had all those. So then it was like, well, exactly what order are we going to do these things in? And so then we had to go through the second phase, which is to prioritize all of these things. And so I came up with this really cool coloring scheme in order to prioritize them. And then really the image just looked like a whole lot of mess. And so I was like, well, I should probably organize them into basically swim lanes. And so that's what I did. Here we have it in the swim lanes, and still everything is the same, it's just we've identified them and put them in the swim lanes. So these are the top priority items, the things we're going to do. And so the way that we determined the priority was these are the things that make Archmage different. You know, some people have commented, both in comments and on the Steam forums, that Archmage Rises as it exists right now is just kind of a crappy clone indie RPG. Like, it's just kind of like every other RPG and stuff. And they're right, and that makes me sad. And when I think about it, I cry a little bit at night. But that's because we've been focusing on all the wrong things. We've been doing all the things that everybody else does, like having dungeons to crawl through and people to talk through and shops and all that other stuff. So everybody has all that. So now we're going to really focus in on what makes Archmage Rises special. All the cool bullet points from the website. So this top row is all those like high priority top things. Then we have second kind of high priority things that are really special, and then we get into medium priority and the lower priority. And so we figured it all out, and so I'm leading the design stuff, and Nick is leading the implementation stuff, and we figured out the number of days. So for Nick, there's 203 days, and Thomas has 198 days. So that means Nick is holding up the release date. That's what that means. And so that's great. Now we have all these numbers and stuff, but exactly like what does that mean? And in terms of like real calendar time, like when is this thing really going to be done? And so that's when I took this and put it into Microsoft Project. And so I got Microsoft Project here with our cool Gantt charts, and I don't know how readable it actually is in the screen capture and stuff. But anyway, so what's important here is not to look at every little line and graph, but that we took all the top priority things and we put those first. And so that's what these ones at the top are those top priority stories or use cases, if you want to use that term. And then we have the second most prioritized items, and then we get into kind of like the middle stuff. And so we laid it all out, and we put in Nick's going on a cruise in February, and I'm going away into Scotland for a couple weeks in July, and like we put it all in with all the holidays and everything. But the second thing that we did was this little rule of thumb for scheduling things is you got to have some kind of buffer. So it's like, what kind of buffer is going to make sense here? And so we went with a 3 weeks on, 1 week off buffer. So the idea is that we are working for 3 weeks out of the month, and then there's 1 week of the month, which is like bug fixes, things, unknowns, extra content, whatever. And so when you see this in the schedule, so it's pretty sweet. So we have 3 weeks, and then 1 week to, of nothing, and then 3 weeks of stuff. So this is kind of a 20-25% buffer that we added to our estimates in order to try and make them as real world as possible. And so when you take all those things into consideration, that gives us the final number at the very end. Oh, actually, I just want to say, we get to the end of kind of the really high priority, really special, interesting stuff in mid-May. So that seems to me to be pretty good. We were feeling pretty good about that. Okay, halfway through this year, we should have most of these really big features and important features done. And then the second half of the year are the more kind of fringe features and fleshing things out a little bit more. And so that brings us, and we scroll all the way over, we go through July and August, and we're going to a con in July. And then we get into December, and really, if we finish the game sometime around here, it would be death to us anyway. It doesn't make sense, I think, for an indie to release a game in October, November, or December. And so it turns out that we're not going to be done then anyway, so we don't have that issue. And it says here that we will be done feature complete by January 24th, 2018. So the only way to get done in 2017 would be to cut features, and I don't think there's any features on the bullet points on the website that I want to cut. This is the game that I set out to make, and I want to make it, and I have, I believe, the budget in order to work on it this long, and so this is going to be the date. So what exactly does that date mean? That means we're going to be feature complete. We keep saying we're releasing pre-alphas, and the term we use for an alpha is feature completeness. So the alpha will be done January 24th. Now, we're going to try and beat that date, of course, because Nick and I are competitive, and you can see that Nick, he ends after me, and so he's holding it up, right? Otherwise, we'd be done on the 23rd. But we're going to try and beat that date, but we don't know what we don't know is going to come up over the course of this year. But then the alpha will be complete, and then we can go into the real balancing and testing and everything and stuff. So to say that we will be probably release beta Q1 next year is I think a very realistic and factual statement. What do you think, Nick?
I think it looks good. Yeah, I think the feature timeline looks really good. We've discussed before that we want to make sure that we're adding content along the way, because we both believe that the features are important, but interesting content in those features is what's really going to make it shine. So I think the timeline looks good.
Sorry you said all that without your face being shown. I was still showing the project, but that's okay. They've seen your face. Yeah, so that's about all we have to say for this update. We were going to do fan stuff, but we're already at 13 minutes, and so we thought we'd just take the time this week in order to explain stuff, and we'll return next week with responding to more fan stuff and showing our progress. So thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.